Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Yarn Ambassador podcast. My name is Charlie and you can find me here as Yarn Ambassador and on Instagram as Yarn Ambassador, but I've also got a couple of other accounts that run on Instagram, the first being Charlie Button Yarns, which is my locally sourced, naturally dyed, 100% plastic free British yarn, and also a newer one which is called Kranky Lady, which I'm going to focus on for this episode to kind of tell people what that's about and if it's of interest to you. If I'm looking very rosy, that is because it's super freezing here and we've just been out for a beautiful walk, but it was cold and the wind was bitter, and I've come inside and I've warmed up and I've now got the flushed look of somebody who has just come in from the cold, so excuse that. So what is Kranky Lady all about? For those of you who might have watched some of my Vlogmas episodes, you will know I have a vintage circular sock machine. I was very lucky, found it on eBay at a reasonable price and managed to get it up and running. Now, it's not a modern piece at all, and it didn't come with much, so I'm only really at the tube stage, but that is fine by me, because it means I can whip through socks faster than ever, and I love wearing knitted socks, but I've got big feet, and I always found it slightly monotonous after turning the heel. So I've been using my circular sock machine to crank out tubes and turn them into socks. There is a particular episode on Vlogmas that tells you more about how it works and shows me cranking a tube. So I will put that in a link to that so you can catch up on that. But just to give you an idea, so it was a tube of West Yorkshire Spinners yarn in the Bullfinch colourway that I have turned into a pair of socks. I put on a cuff, I've put on a toe, and I have just picked up stitches for a heel. That one's actually unpicked as well. So you can see how very quickly I can get a pair of socks, and I've set myself a challenge for 2021 to get through a wheel of socks that I worked on. I cranked them on my vintage sock machine last November, and had a wheel of socks. Now this is slightly diminished because I've already finished one, and one had to go in as an emergency Christmas present, but here are the rest of them. So I'm planning to do one a month for the whole of 2021. So these are my February socks, the Bullfinch ones. But also, the nice thing about the circular sock machine and being able to turn out socks super fast is that it broadens the circle of knit-worthy, hand-knit sock-worthy recipients, because it's much less of a time investment. And additionally, it makes for great, I can give socks to charities, I can make socks for people who go, oh, I'd love the idea of some hand knit socks. And you can make them, and it's not so much a drain on your knitting time. You know how sometimes non-knitters don't appreciate how long knitted items take. But with this, it can be a little bit faster and you can broaden that circle. So, one of the things I've been cranking this week is some lovely yarn that I got from Ange, who is Yarn and Yarns. She used to have a yarn shop, and she has a D-stash page on Instagram, which I'll link to below. And every so often, she puts up a mystery sock collection. And on this one, she said, I've got some mystery sock yarn, and it's a really good bargain. So you're getting money off for the slight kind of risk of not knowing what's turning up. But to be fair, I have never once been disappointed with those. So the last one I got these 3 beautiful self-striping yarns. Look at them, aren't they great? And it's from a brand I don't know, which is called Alsterman Step. And this is a brilliant brand that it says, because it says on the outside, it's a German brand, and it says on the outside, EXP, didn't know what that was about, and Das Original mit Aloe Vera und Jojoba Öl, which I'm assuming is the original with aloe vera and jojoba oil. So I looked on the inside, and these have been infused with aloe vera and jojoba, unique with permanent protection and soft feel cashmere style. Which is true, they are super, super soft. Also, the EXP refers to the way that they've managed to make it superwash. So they've said it's chlorine-free, as it uses non-toxic salts. It uses up to 50% less water compared to conventional treatments, and requires far fewer chemicals, and that those chemicals are much less harmful, which is something that I've been quite kind of concerned about with a lot of the superwash materials. Is basically what makes them superwash is they have a treatment where they are kind of coated in plastic, but these guys have made a real effort to make something superwash so it doesn't felt if you wear it all the time or pop it in the washing machine, but they've tried to find a much more natural way to do it. So I am loving these, and they come in a whole range of beautiful colours. Now, what is the plan for these? My lovely friend Jeanette has set herself a bit of a challenge, and this is one for a brilliant charity. Now, her daughter is I believe a trainee paramedic, so she's an ambulance driver, she works for the NHS, and they've been doing such fabulous work for the past, well, I mean, always, but particularly these past 12 months. And Jeanette wanted to make sure that within her own daughter's team, everybody got a pair of hand-knit socks for Christmas next year. So she asked her daughter how many there were, and it turns out there are something like 500 people who work in that unit. So, bless Jeanette, she's getting herself very busy. So she set up socks for the West Midlands Ambulance Service. And like I said, this is ideal because I can very quickly get 3 or more pairs of socks to Jeanette and help her reach that goal of 500 socks by Christmas. So I'm going to put the details down below. If you would also like to get involved with that, it's a brilliant cause and a really nice way to use up some yarn. And if you need anything cranking, then the other thing I started doing is that it started because I was doing it for some friends, and then other people inquired, and I've kind of, in a very loose way, set up a tube cranking service. So if you have a pile of sock yarn that has been languishing, and you think, if I had it in tubes, then I could just whip through it, or there's loads of things you can make with yarn tubes. You can make neck warmers, you can make fingerless gloves, you can make wreaths, you can make all sorts of things from them. But I offer that service. So if you're interested, then get in touch or leave a comment below. I'm most active as at Kranky Lady with a K on Instagram, and every so often I will also post pre-cranked tubes that are available to buy. So if you just want to, a shortcut to the whole thing, then you can buy a pre-cranked tube and get some socks really quickly. And I know there are some people out there who have been availing themselves of this service, and they seem really happy with them, which is great. So if you're interested, then do let me know, and I can try and help you out. The latest one I've just cranked, this is, again, a present for a friend's mum, and this is actually beautiful yarn from Jenny of All About Yarns, which was the Knit Tea Retreat October goodie bag thing, and it's BFL and bamboo, which again I love because the bamboo offers that sturdiness that nylon offers, but obviously it's a 100% natural product, so isn't that great? So I'm gonna top and tail this with, I think, a pale grey, probably West Yorkshire spinners again, to make my friend's mum an 80th birthday present. So that's what I'm doing that. So I've been doing a lot of cranking this week and thought I would share that with you. If you're looking, if you're one of the rare people who doesn't have an enormous sock yarn stash, then I can highly recommend visiting Yarn and Yarns, Angie's shop, because she's pretty much my main dealer on the yarn stash. She stocks Opal, which is brilliant, brilliant. Again, German. The Germans seem to do sock yarn really well. So there's Opal, she stocks them. She stocks West Yorkshire Spinners, which are these, where these came from. And she also stocks some hand-dyed sock yarns by Miranda May, which are also beautiful. She has also introduced this very cool thing, which is a mystery sock yarn club. So every month, if you fancy getting involved, you can sign up to receive a mystery sock yarn. And again, it's a little bit cheaper than it would be as an off-the-shelf thing, because again, you're kind of you're buying that risk at the same time. But again, absolutely beautiful yarn. I did it the first time round, missed it the second time round, and I've just signed up for it again. So that's a really nice way just to kind of also discover new sock yarn producers, independent dyers, and obviously it says sock yarn. Mostly it says sock yarn because there is wool content, either BFL or merino, sometimes a little dash of cashmere, and then there is another content that makes it firmer and a bit more hard wearing so it doesn't rub through. So normally that's nylon, but bamboo does the trick, silk does it very well as well. So yeah, there are lots of options out there, but that's the only thing that makes it sock yarn. You can use it for whatever you like, really. So that is pretty much what I wanted to talk about today, was Kranky Lady. I'll put in some footage of my machine cranking away so you can see it. It's a very old lady, and Kranky Lady is the name of the machine, not me, because I'm never cranky. But it's an antique. It's probably from the early 1900s, and it's super, super sensitive. So there are some yarns that it will just go, no, I'm not doing these. This Alsterman step stuff cranked like a dream, really smooth. And the other thing is that you have to have really, really neat balls, cakes, yarn cakes, because any kind of additional tension on it sends Kranky Lady sock machine into a frenzy, and it drops stitches and it's a nightmare. But we seem to have found a working pattern. So but there obviously are some yarns that just don't work. So I always say, if people are interested in sending me yarns to be cranked, that if it doesn't work, if there is a yarn that isn't working on it, then I obviously wouldn't charge for that. If you're interested, leave me a message below and I'll find a way to get in touch with you. I've got a Google form that you can fill in, just letting me know how much yarn you've got and what weight it is, what type it is and stuff, and then I can, and I also offer some other options, like, for example, if you don't have the, I think, are they 2.25 needles? Yeah, 2.25 millimeter needles. I've got some of these that I can add on to your order as well, and if you'd like me to wind the yarn so that it's in that perfectly balled cake, I can do that, because if I have to rewind it, then that's that all adds on. So, lots of socks, nearly February socks done, but a whole pile of other February socks to get going on as well. So let me know if you've got any questions. I'd love to hear if you've ever worked from a yarn tube before, and yeah, take care. I hope to see you next week, and look after yourselves in this crazy time and with the cold as well. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.